Association of County Commissioners legislative goals. Ronnie and I were both very involved in that process. Give you a quick rundown how that works. All county commission boards across the state, all county commissioners, which there are 530 county commissioners in the state, roughly 5 per county, some have 7, can submit legislative goals. Those are things that we think the legislature should do, or things that we think the legislature shouldn't do in some cases. Start out with 200-300, Ron?
We started out this year with
300. Well, that was narrowed down to committee to about 46 or 47. We met last Thursday, Friday. Mr. Shields and myself went to that meeting as well as our county manager. We worked for the better part of 2 days in discussing all these goals. We wound up narrowing those down to 5. And the reason that we did that is because you can have 45 goals, but you can't effectively lobby the legislature for 45 things. It just doesn't work that way. So if you narrow it down to your top 5, historically the Association of County Commissioners has been very successful. Ronnie probably approaching 80 to 90% success rate, would you say? And I'll mention 2 of the goals. Ronnie may want to address the one I mentioned a minute ago, so I'm going to talk a lot about it. Is we are lobbying the legislature for the return of the lottery funds when they first set up the North Carolina lottery. It was sold to the public on the fact that 40% would be returned to local school systems, and that has not happened. It was 17% this year. So it not only hurts Macon County, it hurts Mecklenburg County, Wake County, and Orange County, and all the rest of them. So we're on the same page, and that was out of the 300 and how many submitted, that was the top 5. Another one I'll mention is that we ask for no unfunded mandates. Don't come to us and say, hey, you got to do this, you got to do that, and not spend money. You tell us we got to do it. We want to see a check, Raleigh, to pay for it. Does that make sense, Jim?
Oh, yes.
So we've asked very loud and very clear that that's what we want, that's what we expect. And that Ronnie, you were adding to that.
Well, the main topic at the legislative goal conference, of course, is medical. And what we're looking for, it was a divisive, it's very political, and you got, do we do the expansion in North Carolina, do we don't do the expansion in North Carolina? You have the governor who's going through some part of it, the legislature who don't. So we worked very hard to come up with some language, and here's why. If you remember back now almost 5 years ago, we had a Medicaid swap. We swapped a high percent sales tax, and the state would assume the Medicaid responsibility, which has meant millions to our county, millions across the state. Well, they can undo that too. And so, with that in mind, during our discussions, and we had a lot of discussion with a lot of folks there, we came up with some different language. And that language is basically we support the state's efforts in the Medicaid with whatever form that they come up with in an effort to provide insurance to all citizens. That's going to be our goal to work with and work with the state, because that's we just didn't want to make a spotlight, and we still don't write it to the Medicaid swap. You now have a whole new list of legislators there, 170 who wasn't there when this was passed, and we just assumed they didn't discuss that because it has been threatened in the past, and we can always undo that. If they do, you're looking at substantial tax rate increases for our citizens. So that was the first thing. And another thing that Kevin alluded to, of course, the unfunded mandates, and then the transportation sector always comes up. We see many changes in our transportation. More and more things are going to seem like the contract. We do have a TPC meeting Monday at 5 o'clock. Remains up to speed on the transportation part of it. There's just concerns about as the long session begins, about the school, where that's going to end up. So but that's the 5 we're working on. But we left 42, 41 in the goals to work with, mental health being at the top of those two, as we continue that journey. And so, but I appreciate not only the ones from this board who attended. We have the largest contingency from the West ever. Every county was well represented except for Clay County. that's the first time that's ever happened. So we appreciate that. Appreciate Mr. Shields more than he can comment on his first board round what he thought of the process.
Just listen and observe.
That's what I feel. So we had it was a good conference. It was well attended, and another one I was bringing up to speed on is to seek legislation to repeal the statutory authority that allows the local school boards to file suit against the county board of county commissioners, i.e. Union County. If you don't know what happened in Union County, just leave that to read. They sued and won the case, $90 million county. That's now the Court of Appeals. We just think unless they have tax raising authority, that a Board of Education, and when they got in front of the jury, it started out at $8 million.
I was going to say, it could have been settled for $8 to $10 million, but the case that it turned into $90 million.
And it's a $90 million, and another, now that's going forward. But the advantage we have, when you go to these meetings, you'll find out that we just have a relationship with the school board that's abnormal.
Good at it.
Good abnormal. We have a great relationship with them, and it's very important that to maintain.
Actually, it's funny that we had last year, and this year too, we had counties wanted to have goals about how you handle lawsuits between school boards and county commissioners and this kind of thing, and we actually said to them, we did something sort of crazy back home. We actually sit down and talk to them and see if we can work things out, and they sort of looked at us like,
That's a novelty.
They don't do that down east.
They don't ever meet. They don't, so we're very blessed in our county to have a good relationship with the school board, and so the other one is tax and finance, and that's to seek legislation to review the study of the compensation of the counties of property acquired by the state and removed from the ad valorem tax base. That's happened across the state, not so much here, but in our joint law. The state acquires property or sovereign nation could acquire property, and immediately that comes off the tax, that going tax base.
I used to be.
So, but the state can do the same thing. Any property they buy that the state acquires comes off of our tax base, and it's not so much for us right now, but it could happen here, but for our neighbors, it's being due across the state. So, and the other one was to support ADM growth projections as part of the budget. That's average daily membership money. That's where all the money comes from to help with the school boards is Terry and Gary and Kevin. So there's a lot of things going on. We'll go back to Raleigh this week. We'll be meeting with some of those folks, and then we'll have our legislative goals when we go all of the and meet with them. So we have we do have to have a good relationship with our governor and the legislators, because we're armed to the state, and they'll always remind you of that. So we'll keep working. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, I think we got you back on schedule. Mr. Bruckner, we've got the health department schedule